Bravo, should we go to West Pass? And 252, do you guys want to gouge up?
Tower bases are easily the biggest pain to take. In this video, I'll share a tactic for taking them.
Station off them and kind of cut off that entire lane.
All I'm going to consider is the worst kinds of tower, 2 exterior points with 1 inside the tower itself. Due to the scale of fights that often end up at towers, I'm going to make the following assumption so it's a bit simpler. I'm going to take this from the perspective of a platoon lead, and that the fight is even and I have 3 squads, and we're against a relatively unorganised force, like a bunch of randoms.
Tower fall?
The first thing I need to consider as a platoon lead are the objectives of my squads. My typical tactic is to assign 1 point each to 2 of the squads as a primary objective. For example, I will assign Bravo to B point and Charlie to C point. From this point onwards, these 2 squads are responsible for making sure those points do not flip to the defenders.
Charlie is...
Alpha squad, in this instance, will be tasked with suppressing the tower, or A point, with anti-infantry vehicles and air, so for example Fury buses, in the NC Airhammer Reavers, HE Lightnings, etc. And they'll do this while keeping an eye out for external attacks such as incoming galaxies or armour. 12 people in a non-saturated fight this size is often enough to suppress the tower to the extent required. Any aircraft here will also help with incoming galaxies, as the best way to stop a galaxy drop is to just intercept them and shoot them down. You can't really do that with flak.
So annoy Charlie squad.
Enemies have...
Charlie to be? Can you guys head up to Quatty?
Each squad is now assigned an objective, and to ensure the spawns are kept up, each squad will also need to provide their own Sunderer. The fight will escalate, and spawns for randoms can go a long way to helping with countering that escalation. I usually really only care about 2 of the points in a tower base. The point in the tower is a luxury to have. I always go into it with the assumption it's going to be a 20-minute cap. As such, Bravo and Charlie will usually just assault the tower, with the bulk of their squad leaving a few on the point in an attempt to hold the A point in the tower. Although it's not their biggest priority, the points they've been assigned are their biggest priority.
What we'll do, we'll regroup with
Get
you
over here!
What do you want?
The point in the tower is really difficult to hold, as it's very close to the spawn, and due to its lower position from the spawn shield, it's very easy for a defender to get some cheap grenade kills. As a result, a different strategy is needed to tackle the point. Underneath the spawn room is an area which provides good firing lines to the main staircase from the spawn room. This can be covered with a few heavy assaults or a couple of maxes with support classes covering the flanks. On the point itself, I tend to have a max with an engineer and a medic to pick off any stragglers that get through the lines. The max is the one that does the killing, the engineer and the medic are there to back it up.
To support me back on B.
Underneath the spawn room area as well, where the bulk of the squads are, there's a balcony that goes around the perimeter of the tower. It's underneath the anti-tank turrets. It allows good access to the capture point, without having to enter the defender's line of fire from the spawn room, which is a mistake so many people make. It's a good route to get from the point to the area under the spawn safely, and it's also very useful to reinforce the point. Alpha Squad, which is vehicle support, is needed to keep the area clear of enemy vehicles as much as possible, while the other squads hold the interior of the tower as well as they can while falling back to their points as needed. The fight here is sometimes very back and forth between the tower and the points. It's hard to do, but not impossible, to get into the tower. Each of the infantry squads can use their cap points as a staging area to fend off any defender push, then move back into the tower. Thinking back to the attack and defense lanes episode, you can push up and down those lanes and do what's called a lane hold, which is where you basically fall back as you're getting hit hard to an area where you have a good advantage and hold them off there. This advantage can be a height advantage, a nice long lane with no cover, that's very easy to fire upon, or somewhere you can set up a Fury Sunday to completely wipe out a squad. So sometimes it is a good idea to fall back to somewhere that you can hold off the enemy pretty easily, but you need to remember that the second they are wiped, you push back up before they have a chance to react to you. That's all I can really say about attacking towers from a leadership perspective. Assign a point to each infantry squad and have a vehicle squad suppressing the enemy to support them. Keep moving and don't let yourself get completely wiped for too long. And keep the 2 infantry squads suppressing the tower like you would a spawn room as well. Try and get them inside. Remember, 1 second holding the 3rd point is 3 seconds off the timer, so 1 minute is 3 minutes off the timer. Just remember that that point's a luxury. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you later.